Pay attention to the woman in the purple workout tank top walking through the gym parking lot. Her name is Jessica Martinez. She's a 31-year-old physical therapist who comes to this 24-hour gym 5 mornings a week before her shift at the hospital. Now, pay attention to the man in the gray hoodie leaning against the driver's side door of a black pickup truck behind her. His name is Trevor Haynes. He's been watching her routine for the past 2 weeks, memorizing her schedule, her patterns, her route home. Within 45 minutes, Jessica's car would be found abandoned on the side of the highway, her phone still recording. This was not a random encounter. It was a calculated abduction that she unknowingly documented herself. Welcome to Last Witness. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more haunting crime stories that expose how modern technology connects us to both opportunity and danger. At 7:15 a.m. on October 3rd, Jessica Martinez's co-worker and closest friend, Angela Ross, became concerned when Jessica failed to show up for their morning shift at St. Catherine's. Jessica was never late. In the 3 years they'd worked together, Angela could count on one hand the number of times Jessica had even called in sick. When multiple calls and text messages went unanswered, Angela knew something was catastrophically wrong. By 9 a.m., Angela had contacted the police. The dispatcher logged the details. A 31-year-old woman, creature of habit, last seen leaving her apartment complex at 5:30 a.m. for her regular gym session. To the responding officers, the initial concern seemed premature. Adults had car trouble, forgot to charge their phones, got caught up in unexpected situations. But Angela's insistence that this behavior was completely out of character elevated the urgency of the response. What investigators discovered within hours would transform a routine missing persons case into a race against time to find Jessica Martinez before it was too late. Jessica Martinez had built her life around structure and routine. After completing her doctorate in physical therapy at the University of Colorado, she'd moved to Denver to take a position at St. Catherine's, specializing in sports rehabilitation. She lived alone in a modest one-bedroom apartment in the Stapleton neighborhood, drove a reliable silver Toyota Camry, and maintained a schedule so consistent that her neighbors could set their watches by her comings and goings. Every weekday morning, Jessica's alarm went off at 5 a.m. She would dress in her workout clothes, grab her gym bag and water bottle, and drive the 2.3 miles to Iron Peak Fitness, a 24-hour gym located in a commercial plaza near the interstate. She preferred the early morning hours because the gym was nearly empty, allowing her to complete her workout routine without waiting for equipment. She would arrive by 5:45 a.m., work out for exactly 1 hour, shower in the gym's locker room, and drive directly to the hospital, arriving with enough time to grab coffee before her 7:30 a.m. shift. Her routine was efficient, healthy, and predictable. It was also being watched. Detective Sarah Chen was assigned to Jessica's case when the wellness check escalated after investigators located Jessica's vehicle. At 10:23 a.m., a state trooper found Jessica's silver Toyota Camry pulled onto the shoulder of Interstate 25 northbound, approximately 8 miles from the Iron Peak Fitness parking lot. The driver's door was slightly ajar. The engine was off, but the keys were still in the ignition. Jessica's purse sat untouched on the passenger seat, her wallet containing cash and credit cards still inside. Most disturbingly, her phone was found wedged between the center console and the passenger seat. Its screen cracked, but still powered on. When Detective Chen accessed the device, she discovered that Jessica's fitness tracking app had been running, and more critically, her phone's voice memo app showed an active recording that had been running for 47 minutes before the battery died. What was captured on that recording would provide investigators with a chilling, real-time account of Jessica's abduction and her final moments of consciousness. The audio file began at 6:42 a.m., just as Jessica was leaving Iron Peak Fitness after completing her workout. The first sounds were benign, the automatic doors of the gym swooshing open, the ambient noise of early morning traffic, Jessica's footsteps on the pavement. Then, her voice, slightly breathless, talking to herself, or perhaps recording a voice note she intended to transcribe later. "Okay, great workout this morning. Hit a new PR on deadlifts. Feeling strong. Need to remember to schedule that appointment with..." Wait, there was a pause. The sound of footsteps stopping. "That's weird. There's a guy just standing by a truck. He's staring at me. Okay, this is uncomfortable." The recording captured Jessica's breathing becoming slightly faster. Her footsteps resumed, quicker now, more purposeful. The distinct electronic chirp of a car being unlocked. The sound of a door opening. Jessica's voice, quieter now, as if talking to herself. He's walking this way. Why is he walking toward me? Okay, getting in the car now. Locking the doors. The sound of a car door closing. The engine starting. Then, muffled but audible, a male voice from outside the vehicle. Excuse me, miss. You dropped something. Jessica's voice, wary. I don't think I dropped anything. The male voice, closer now. It's right here by your tire. Looks like your phone or something. There was a moment of hesitation captured on the audio. The sound of Jessica's window being lowered slightly. I have my phone right here. I don't think that's mine. Oh, my bad. Sorry to bother you. The window rolling back up. Jessica's exhale of relief. The car shifting into reverse. Normal driving sounds for approximately 2 minutes. Then, Jessica's voice again, still tense. Okay, that was weird. That guy is... Oh my god, he's following me. There's a black pickup truck that was in the parking lot, and it's right behind me now. This is... Okay, I'm going to take a different route. I'm not going straight home. The audio captured several minutes of driving sounds, turn signals, the ambient noise of traffic. Jessica's breathing remained elevated. Then, her voice again, more frightened now. He's still behind me. He's been following me for almost 5 minutes. I'm going to get on the highway. There will be more people. I can drive to the police station. Okay, getting on I-25. The sound of acceleration. Highway noise. Then, approximately 3 minutes later, a new sound. Something mechanical, grinding. The car's engine making an unusual noise. Jessica's voice, now panicked. No, no, no. What's wrong with the car? The engine light just came on. I'm losing power. No, please, not now. The sound of the car decelerating. The emergency blinkers clicking on. Jessica's voice, shaking. I'm going to have to pull over. Oh God, he's still behind me. Okay, I'm calling 911. I'm calling 911 right now. The sound of Jessica's fingers fumbling with her phone. Then, a different, horrifying sound. The sharp crack of breaking glass. Jessica's scream. The phone dropping. Muffled, struggling sounds. A male voice, calm and commanding. Don't scream. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Jessica's voice, terrified. Please, I don't have anything valuable. Take my purse. Take the car. Please. The male voice. I don't want your car. You're coming with me, now. More struggling sounds. Jessica's voice, desperate. No, help! Someone help! A dull thud. A gasp. Then, silence, except for the sound of highway traffic in the background. Footsteps. A car door opening and closing. The recording continued for another 12 minutes, capturing only the sound of passing traffic before the phone's battery finally died. Detective Chen listened to the recording 3 times before she could speak. The audio provided critical evidence, but also raised terrifying questions. Jessica had been forcibly removed from her vehicle on a highway during morning rush hour. The perpetrator had somehow disabled her car, created an opportunity to approach her vehicle, and abducted her in broad daylight on a busy interstate. Investigators immediately pulled traffic camera footage from the stretch of I-25 where Jessica's car was found. What they discovered confirmed the worst fears. At 6:51 a.m., traffic cameras captured Jessica's silver Camry pulling onto the shoulder, emergency flashers on. Approximately 30 seconds later, a black Chevrolet Silverado pickup truck pulled in behind her. The footage showed a male figure, medium build, wearing a gray hoodie and dark pants, exit the truck and approach the driver's side of Jessica's vehicle. The camera angle was too distant to capture clear facial features, but the body language was unmistakable. The man smashed the driver's side window with what appeared to be a tire iron or similar tool. Jessica's brake lights flashed as she tried to accelerate away, but the car didn't move. The man reached through the window, opened the door, and within seconds had pulled Jessica from the vehicle. The entire abduction took less than 45 seconds. The man dragged Jessica to his truck, forced her into the passenger side, and drove away northbound on I-25. The entire incident was captured on 3 separate traffic cameras. Multiple vehicles passed by during the abduction, but no one stopped. To casual observers, it might have looked like someone helping a stranded motorist, not a violent kidnapping in progress. Detective Chen immediately issued a bolo for the black Chevrolet Silverado. The license plate was partially obscured by mud, but forensic analysts were able to enhance the footage, enough to identify it as a Colorado plate beginning with VK. That narrowed the search to approximately 3,200 registered vehicles in the state. The breakthrough came when investigators examined Jessica's car. A mechanic dispatched to the scene made a disturbing discovery. Someone had sabotaged the vehicle. A small device, later identified as a GPS tracker with a remote engine kill switch, had been attached to the underside of the car near the fuel line. The device was commercially available online, marketed for fleet management and vehicle recovery, but it could be weaponized by anyone with basic technical knowledge. The perpetrator had been tracking Jessica's movements and had the ability to remotely disable her engine at any moment. He had waited until she was on the highway, away from cameras and witnesses, then forced her to stop. Detective Chen's team began reviewing security footage from Iron Peak Fitness for the past 2 weeks. What they found painted a disturbing picture of premeditation and stalking. On September 19th, 14 days before Jessica's abduction, a black Chevrolet Silverado appeared on the gym's parking lot cameras for the first time. The truck arrived at 6:15 a.m. and remained parked in the same spot until 7:05 a.m. after Jessica had left. Over the following 2 weeks, the same truck appeared 8 more times, always arriving shortly before Jessica left the gym, always parking in a position with a clear view of her vehicle. On September 27th, cameras captured a man in a gray hoodie walking near Jessica's car and crouching briefly by the rear driver's side wheel well, exactly where the tracking device was later found. The man was methodical and deliberate. He had studied Jessica's routine, identified her vulnerability points, and prepared for the abduction with calculated precision. Cross-referencing the partial license plate with vehicle registration records and the security footage timestamps, investigators identified a suspect, Trevor Haynes, 38-year-old unemployed construction worker, with a history of domestic violence, arrests, and a previous restraining order filed by an ex-girlfriend for stalking behavior. His registered address was a rural property 40 miles north of Denver. At 2:47 p.m. on October 3rd, less than 9 hours after Jessica's abduction, a tactical team executed a search warrant on Trevor Haynes' property. The black Silverado was parked behind the house, its passenger side window partially open. Forensic evidence collected from the vehicle included broken glass matching Jessica's car window, tire marks matching the pattern found at the abduction scene, and most critically, Jessica's gym membership card, which had apparently fallen from her pocket during the struggle. But Trevor Haynes was not at the property, and neither was Jessica Martinez. A search of the house revealed a deeply disturbing collection of evidence. Haynes had been surveilling multiple women. His bedroom wall was covered with printed photographs of women leaving gyms, grocery stores, and coffee shops. He had created detailed notes about their routines, vehicles, and apparent living situations. Among the photographs were over 30 images of Jessica Martinez, taken over several weeks at various locations: the gym, the hospital parking lot, outside her apartment building. In Haynes' computer browser history, investigators found searches for how to disable a car remotely, GPS trackers with kill switch, and rural properties for sale, Colorado. He had been planning not just Jessica's abduction, but potentially the abductions of other women. A forensic analysis of Haynes' phone records showed his last known location pinging a cell tower near Loveland, Colorado, approximately 60 miles north of Denver, at 9:14 a.m. on October 3rd. A coordinated search involving local law enforcement, the FBI, and search and rescue teams was immediately deployed to the area. At 6:32 p.m., as daylight was fading, a search helicopter spotted a black Silverado parked behind an abandoned barn on a foreclosed property 12 miles outside Loveland. The tactical team approached with extreme caution. Trevor Haynes was found inside the barn, attempting to barricade himself inside a small storage room. Jessica Martinez was found alive, restrained but conscious, in the same room. She had visible injuries consistent with the struggle captured on her audio recording: bruising on her wrists and arms, a laceration on her forehead from where her head had struck the car during the abduction. But she was alive, and she was rescued before Haynes could inflict further harm. Trevor Haynes was taken into custody without incident. During interrogation, he initially refused to speak, but the overwhelming physical and digital evidence made denial impossible. Forensic analysts recovered deleted files from his computer showing months of planning, not just for Jessica's abduction, but for a pattern of behavior that suggested he had been escalating toward more serious violence. Jessica's voice recording, The same recording that documented her terror became the cornerstone of the prosecution's case. Combined with the traffic camera footage, the GPS tracker, and the evidence found at Haynes's property, prosecutors built an airtight case for kidnapping, stalking, and attempted aggravated assault. In March of the following year, Trevor Haynes was convicted on all counts and sentenced to 35 years in prison without the possibility of parole. During the sentencing hearing, Jessica addressed the court. She spoke about the violation of being watched, followed, and hunted by someone she had never even noticed. She described the terror of those 45 minutes, knowing she was being abducted, trying desperately to call for help, and realizing that no one was coming. But she also spoke about survival, about the instinct that made her start recording on her phone, even if she didn't consciously remember doing it, about the technology that allowed investigators to track her abductor and find her before it was too late. She had become her own last witness, her voice preserved in digital form, telling the story of what happened when no one else was there to see. Jessica Martinez returned to work 6 months after the abduction. She changed gyms, altered her routine, and installed multiple security systems in her car and home. She became an advocate for personal safety awareness, particularly for women who maintained predictable routines that could be exploited by predators. She shared her story, not to scare people, but to educate them about the reality that danger can come from the most mundane places: a gym parking lot, a morning commute, a person who simply decides to watch and wait. The case became a training example for law enforcement nationwide, demonstrating how modern technology, particularly smartphone voice recording and GPS tracking, can serve both as a tool for predators and as a means of rescue for victims. Jessica's recording provided investigators with real-time evidence that led directly to her rescue and her abductor's conviction. But the recording also preserved the raw, terrifying reality of what she endured. Her voice, captured in those moments of fear and desperation, became evidence in a courtroom. It became a tool for justice. It became her testimony when she was unable to speak for herself. Jessica Martinez followed her routine, went to the gym, and drove home, never knowing she was being watched. She was abducted in broad daylight on a busy highway, and no one stopped to help. But her phone kept recording. Her voice kept speaking. And when investigators finally found her, it was her own words, her own testimony, that led them to her. She was her own last witness.